Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jarvis S. Scott. What's happening in Birmingham? Today, I have the honor and pleasure of being with Dr. Cree Johnson with Brownstone Healthcare and Aesthetics. Good afternoon, Dr. Johnson.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you for taking time out your day. This is part 3 of my series of A New You 2019, where we talk about how to improve yourself for the new year. And today, we're talking about health. And Dr. Johnson, the main thing as the new year kind of approaches is annual checkups. So for male and female, so what does that consist of typically?
Okay, so you may know it as an annual checkup. Other people call it a well visit. So once a year, you get a well visit check with your doctor. Usually insurance may mandate it, or you may just have your set month, your birthday month. Maybe your month that you set aside to say, I'm gonna make sure everything's intact. So during your well visit, you come into the doctor, you get your vitals checked, we check your blood pressure, we check your weight, we check your pulse, and then we check a certain set of labs. So everyone usually, if you're 30 years or older, you get your cholesterol checked once a year, and you get your blood sugar checked. So that's screening for heart disease, that's screening for diabetes, and then also checking the blood pressure would be screening for if you indeed have high blood pressure or hypertension. So that's across the board. So females, you can do your well visit, and that can be your pap smear. Your pap smear visit where you see your GYN or your family medicine physician. Also, nowadays, you have to have your mammogram when you're at the right age. If you're 35 or 36 years old, you get one baseline mammogram. And that's important. If you're African American, they pay for you to have one baseline. And then you go on every year to have your mammogram starting after 40 years old. That's important because you don't think of breast cancer in a 30-year-old, but I have at least 2 or 3 20-year-olds with breast cancer. So 35, it's a blessing that they're able to start checking it at least once. So you get a baseline then. So women need that mammogram. Men need the prostate exam and the digital rectal exam, as well as the blood draw. You need that starting at 40 if you're African American, and at 50 if you're a Caucasian. So they need to get that every single year. And in the last year, from well visits and checks, I've diagnosed 3 or 4 40-something-year-old, 50-year-old black men with prostate cancer.
Wow.
So just by coming in, they're like, my wife made me come. I don't know why I'm here, but my wife made me come. And because we checked it, we saw that the levels were high, sent them to the right place, and now they're getting their chemo. But thank the Lord they came for their well visit, and we were able to check that and detect that.
Okay. So you're noticing more younger age, a lot of these people are coming.
Okay. So we're picking up a lot of stuff earlier for younger people because we're thinking to check it sooner. So women get the mammogram, they get their pap smears, men get the prostate screening. Everyone needs to be getting a colonoscopy. So colonoscopy is where they check you for colon cancer. A lot of people are like, I'm not getting that done because you have to drink all of this prep the day before, but you're like, it can save your life. There is an increased risk of colon cancer. Now we're starting to see a more prevalence of it, that is, in the African American community, in people that are in their 30s, in people that are in their 40s. But you can't get your colonoscopy until you're 50. So you need to be coming in, watching your symptoms. So stay off of Google. I know a lot of times you Google all your symptoms, but you need a primary care doctor. You need that well visit so we can talk about your symptoms and if your symptoms are warranted or not for further testing.
So I want to go back to men for something you was talking about prostate cancer and things. What are some early things they can detect before they get to the doctor?
Yes. So there are some symptoms. Men, if you're getting up at least 2 times or more at night, that could be meaning that you have an enlarged prostate. If your stream is changed, if you have a good robust, like a horse stream, and now it's like dribbling or the stream is getting weaker, then those are signs that the prostate could be off or enlarged. It may not mean prostate cancer, but it may mean that you need to get in and get your prostate checked.
Okay. I want to go back to another from the front, and then I'm going to go back to the back. A topic a lot of people don't want to talk about, but we all have hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids, exactly. So hemorrhoids can cause you to have some blood in your stool. That's usually bright red blood, whereas if you have colon cancer, it may be bright red, it may be dark red, but if you're seeing blood in your stool, somebody needs to be looking at it because you can have cancer of the outside of your, your bottom, the anus. You can have anal cancer, you can have rectal cancer. So we need to make sure it's actually your hemorrhoids and it's not something else. So don't just attribute, oh, I saw blood in my stool, it's got to be my hemorrhoids. We need to have that checked to ensure that it really is your hemorrhoids. So sometimes they have to do a biopsy of it, which is taking a little bit of sample of that area to make sure it really is hemorrhoids and it's not a cancer.
Okay. Go back to this popular, especially prevalent African Americans, blood pressure.
Yes, that's a big thing.
And how you've seen the rise even from the youngest,
Yes,
what levels do you see, and let's go back for a second. Say, okay, I get these kits in the mail, you can order it, or I can stop by my local drugstore. Do that give a reliable screening?
You have to be careful about the arm cuffs that you do in the drugstore. You have to be careful because sometimes who's calibrating those machines? I don't know how often they're going in and making sure the machine is accurate. So I always say get your own home machine, the one that fits around your arm, and you may need to measure your arm because if you get a small and your arm is a 42 inches, it's going to give you inaccurate readings. So you need to make sure the cuff fits perfectly. And then you need to take it to your local fire department or to your primary care doctor and let them calibrate their machine with your machine. Because usually at the fire department and at the doctor's office, they have well calibrated machines. So that way you can know what you're getting at home is accurate. We want it to be less than 140 on the top, less than 90 on the bottom, and as close to 120 over 80s as we can, but we do have a little bit of a buffer. So if you're getting numbers that's 140s, 150s, over 90s, 100s, and you get that number at least twice, then there's the concern that you have high blood pressure. That's the diagnosis of hypertension. 2 high blood pressure readings ever. So if you got 2 consistently high levels, you need to be on some type of medicine, or you need to be on a lifestyle change, watching your diet, watching your salt intake, exercising, 4 or 5 times a week, 30 minutes at a time. So you can combat it with your diet and exercise, but you need to be doing it under a physician. You don't need to be trying to willy-nilly do that on your own.
Okay. I hear people speak about this a lot. They was like, well, their biggest fear is, it's like, well, once I get on the blood pressure pills, I can never come off.
Right.
Is that true?
Not true. Okay. Not true at all. That's a myth. And it depends on your doctor. I take my patients and I'm individualize it all. So if you come to me, you've lost the weight, you're exercising, your blood pressure is good consistently, and you can bring me the numbers. So you got to be doing the work. Bring me the log that says at home it's 120s over 80s, 130s over 80s. Okay, we can back you down to half your dose. Come back in a month or 2. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay, we can start going to every other day, and I'll wean you off of it and say, hey, you still got to check it 3 times a week or however off the medicine, so we can ensure that you really are doing good off the medicine. So I take people off of it all the time.
Okay, so let's go back to the people who may get sticker shock.
Okay.
And what I mean by sticker shock is they come for the annual visit, they get scared, like my blood pressure, sugar's up, I got to change my diet. What do you say people that try, like they go cold turkey, or people say, well, I'm going to go vegetarian. How does that affect your body? Would you recommend a gradual?
You can gradually go into it, but some people need that all or none. It's, at this time of the year, people are doing like the Daniel fast and fasting with the church. And I can see a lot of good results come February, March, but then you fall off of that. If you have a good accountability partner with your, your friends, your family, or your doctor, I bring people back and say, okay, this is just going to be a weight accountability visit to make sure you're eating right, make sure you're doing right, make sure you're using MyFitnessPal or however you want to track it. But I think that we just need to get you in here, get that well visit done, and then from there, you may have to go back to the doctor if your pressure was up on a well visit. That doesn't mean that you're going to immediately be starting on blood pressure medicines. It means we're going to watch it for a couple of weeks, for a month. You have to come back in for your visit, and then we'll say, hey, it's been up 2-3 times, it's up at home, maybe we need to start a low dose of medicine. So it starts the process of living a healthier whole life.
Okay, why do you say to those people that go through, like, I'm gonna skip some meals? So I'm gonna skip breakfast.
Okay.
How does that, if you skip a certain time, that affect your body? Or I even hear people say, well, and I'll confess, Googling, it says that, okay, your body will start noticing that and it'll start storing more food because you went without.
Yeah, so in this day and age, there are a lot of fad diets out there. There are a lot of trends. So now a lot of people are doing intermittent fasting. I have patients that do great on it. They may eat from 12 noon to 8 p.m. and they don't eat the rest of the time. It kind of trains your body, trains your brain that I'm only going to eat during this time. And they do a low carb approach that works fine. But for some people, it doesn't work. So I always say it's an individualized decision and do it under the doctor's care. So the doctor can look at your labs and say, well, you're diabetic. You shouldn't be skipping any meals. You need small, frequent meals. But if you're not diabetic, you may be able to do some of those things and try it in moderation. You may say, I'm going to try it for a month, then switch up and try something else for a month, and then see how you balance off. So you just kind of have to kind of take it in small chunks and under doctor's supervision.
Okay, we'll say I have a lot of friends that do this too. They're diabetic, but then they skip taking it.
Oh, skip taking their medicines. You have to be careful because every 3 months you're going to go to the doctor. They're going to check what's called your hemoglobin A1C, and we're going to know if you have been taking your medicine. They're like, oh, I'm good. My numbers have been fine, but the labs don't lie. So we'll check their level and we'll be able to tell if they've been doing what they're supposed to do or not. So the goal is to take your medicine like you should, you know, watch your diet because you want to just live longer and you want to feel good. And, you know, I get all of this about these medicines have side effects. Some stuff run in your family, you know. High blood pressure runs in our family, you know, diabetes runs in. We can do all the lifestyle change, but sometimes you may need a little bit of medicine. But we got to do our part of it as well. Like, we got to be trying to eat right. We got to be trying to exercise to keep up with trying to not be on so much medicine. Okay. If that's your goal.
Okay. Well, do you see a lot of people moving towards gluten-free diets and it's like other ones, they just do shakes and how does that affect your body or your professional opinion? Gluten-free, does it matter one way?
It does. I do have some people that have gluten sensitivity. There are labs that can be drawn that can say, hey, my body doesn't process gluten right. They'll have stomach ache. They have symptoms that go along with if you truly have gluten intolerance or gluten sensitivity. So therefore, I would say talk to your doctor, get the labs drawn, and see if you actually need to start eliminating those things in your diet. And you very well, they may feel a lot better. They may lose weight. They actually may gain weight if you can't hold your food down because it's hurting you so bad. You may feel healthier once you're on the right diet. So I think that it just kind of depends on the person.
Okay. I don't know why this just came in my head. You know, now, cigarettes, now people doing the vapes. Can you kind of talk about how that's even more?
You have to be careful. And speaking with the well visits, a lot of the jobs they have on there now, they want us to check for nicotine levels in their employees because they are increasing the health premiums of them or dropping them from plans because if you're a smoker, then you're more at risk for COPD, heart attacks, and all these other things. So you have to be mindful with smoking on your well visit because they are checking for traces of nicotine on some of the jobs are. But vaping, you really don't know what you get. You know, I have a lot of people use it as a gateway to kind of transition themselves off of cigarettes, but have a time frame of it. Don't be like, I changed from tobacco, now I'm vaping, and I've been vaping for 6 years. Have a time frame. If you need that to kind of help you get off the nicotine, then, transition. But just have a time frame.
And another thing, too, is getting popular now in clubs and bars. Hookahs,
yes. They're very, very popular. But you have to be careful with that because that is very similar to vaping. And you can have other things in there as well. But you just have to be mindful that if it can be a habit and know your personality. If you got addicting personality, all of that stuff kind of adds up.
Okay. I read some a while back talking about glass of wine a day.
Yes.
Is that something or that varies?
It does kind of vary, but they do say that a glass of it has to be red wine. I don't like red wine, so I guess I wouldn't qualify. But a glass of red wine a day is supposed to be good for you. So I think that's still to be negotiated. But then also you're going to drink your glass of red wine. If it's the sweetest of the sweet, are you going to increase your risk of having weight gain, having diabetes? If it's super sweet, you can even end up increasing your blood pressure because the alcohol has salts in it. So you have to look at it at a grand picture of, is it really good for me, or am I just giving myself more points to get XYZ diagnosis?
Okay. Now that we're in the midst of the beginning of the year, we're in the middle of cold season. Cold and flu season.
And allergies.
And allergies.
People don't believe that it can just be your allergies.
Yeah, breaking it down. So, I always like to say professional opinion. The flu shot. Should we get it? Should we not get it?
We should be getting a flu shot.
Okay.
I got the flu shot every year except for 1 year, and I got the flu that year, and I felt so bad. I was like, I would never not get the flu. Last year we had so many people to die from actually getting the flu, but those were people that did not get the flu shot. So you never can tell. They're like, oh, but the flu shot isn't that specific this year. I really don't know, but if you still get the flu after you get the shot, you have less likelihood of dying from it, and you have less likelihood of being super sick, so you won't end up in the hospital. A lot of people that died last year from the flu were young, healthy people, that end up getting pneumonia on top of that. So I do push for the flu shot, and because I've seen people get really, really sick, people end up in the ICU from it. And, on one hand, it's like it's just the flu, but for somebody, depending on your immune system, it could be the last disease you ever get. So I recommend the flu shot, and you do not get sick from the flu. Flu shot. So you can get the flu shot, and it takes a little while for it to go into your system. So if you get the shot that day and you get sick the next day, you probably was already on your way to getting sick. So I think that's a good myth to kind of debunk.
I'm glad you said that. I think you want to repeat that again. You do not get sick from the flu shot.
You probably were already getting sick anyway, and you just end up having the symptoms around the same time. But yes, so flu shot, if you have an egg allergy, you can't get the flu shots. And so be sure to talk to your doctor about that, and who should definitely get it. If you're diabetic, you need it every single year. If you have COPD, you need it every single year. So certain people with certain diseases need it every single year because you're at risk for, if you get it, you're going to get it and it's going to take you down. So you have to be careful of that. But it's cold, flu, and allergy season. It's Alabama. The weather's crazy. It's 60 degrees today. It'll be 45 degrees tomorrow. It'll be 20 and snowing on Sunday. You have to be mindful that all of that, your body is trying to adjust as well. That could be allergies. Unless you've been having it go on for about 10 days or more, because a virus lasts about 10 days. If it's more than 10 days, then you should be calling somebody saying, I may need an antibiotic or I need something. But just be mindful. I do know that there's a place that have several urgent cares around, and just be careful because I've seen a lot of people, they had to go to the urgent care. It was the timing, they couldn't get into their doctor or couldn't get into me. It was after hours, it was weekends, you had to go. But remember, no one knows you like your primary care doctor does. Your primary care knows, I know that you can't take this antibiotic, or I know that we were on this 2 months ago, we need that. So be mindful of that when you kind of doctor hop through all of the urgent care. So be mindful. Be mindful that your doctor will know best. So even if it's calling and saying, I got these symptoms, I'd rather you call me and say, and I can say, well, you need to do blah, 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 and call me back in a week. If you're not better, we'll do however. Or you may need to come in and get labs. Because I know that I see people that have gone to the urgent care, then some days later I end up having to see them back because they still sick.
Or would you much like, if they can't get in contact with you, just go to the emergency room?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because the emergency room, the deductible and the payment is so much higher.
Oh, okay.
So urgent care, there is a place for the urgent care.
Okay.
Go to the urgent care, it's fine. But like I said, if you don't get better, contact your primary care doctor instead of like, I didn't get better, so I went back again to a different one.
Okay.
Because neither of those doctors know you like your primary care does.
Okay. I'm transitioning to another topic. I don't know how much time we're doing, but I know if you're still watching this video, just hang on because I think it's good information. I want to talk about vitamins, supplements, sleeping pills.
Okay, gotcha. That's very important. When you come into the doctor, a lot of times people only list out their prescription medicine. They're like, I'm not on any medicine. You're not on any medicine. They're thinking it's on a prescription. but I need to know everything that you're on. If you're on ginkgo, if you're on St. John's wort, which is a supplement for depression, I need to know that because I can add you on something else that can interfere with that, cause you to have a lot of problems. So you do need to be very open with your doctors about what vitamins you're on, what supplements you're on, because I don't want to combine anything and have you to have a adverse reaction to a medicine because you're already on a supplement, or we don't want your levels to get too terribly high on whatever you're on, because I'm adding to what you're already on that's already doing, increasing your iron, and I add you on more iron. You can get iron toxicity because I didn't know that you was already taking iron at home. So be mindful of just listing it out, talking to your doctors. If you're watching TV and you say, well, this doctor on TV said I needed to take whatever, talk to your doctor first about it, because we need to make sure it's not going to interact with what you're already on.
Is there any such thing, going back a minute ago about the cold medicine, that if you take, say for instance, I'm always taking NyQuil, or I'm always taking Mucinex, is there a way your body can just get resistant to that medicine? Okay.
It can. The body can. And be mindful too, talking about cold medicines. If you have high blood pressure, be careful, because a lot of the over-the-counter medicines can make your blood pressure go up.
Oh,
so
okay.
Depending on, like if it's Mucinex D, the DM or the decongestant can increase your blood pressure. So you have to be very careful when you just kind of taking it yourself for those 10 days before you call. You know, it's okay to call your doctor and say, hey, I picked up some Mucinex. Is that okay for me to take or whatever? Oh, and sleeping pills, you asked about that.
Yeah.
So be mindful, because a lot of sleeping pills have Benadryl in it or diphenhydramine. You'll see that on there. But a lot, especially if you're older people shouldn't be taking a lot of Benadryl. It'll make them dizzy. They'll become a fall risk. So if you're picking up stuff like that over the counter, just ask your doctor, and they can look at you and your health profile and say, yes, that's okay for you, only in moderation, a time or two a night. Instead of being on it every single night, they may need to give you a prescription, a sleep aid that's a prescription that may help you a little bit better. Or you can take melatonin. That's in your body, that's safe, it's over the counter. But if it doesn't work, call your doctor and see.
Okay, and just some me just out of curiosity, why is it when you take NyQuil, you wake up like you just got drunk in a car wreck? Like it's almost like it's hard to. What's in that?
I think it does have some kind of alcohols in there, so you do kind of wake up. So if you're doing it every single night, that kind of adds up for some days. So just be careful, because we really don't know every little thing that's in there. As a layman's person, you like, I just saw that commercial, I'm just gonna take that. So make sure that you discuss it with your doctor, so that you can know, yes, I really do need that, or that's not going to go with the rest of my medicine, because we don't want you falling asleep driving the next day, having accidents or anything like that, trying to get over a cold.
Okay. I don't know why I'm going back to food. Red meat. What does, health, studies say about red meat?
So you have to be careful about red meat. I am very into what's called the blood type diet. So my blood type, I can't take a lot of red meat, but I do have to have a lot of beef. But people say don't eat beef. But in order for me to feel my healthiest and all of that, then I have to have beef. So it kind of depends on you and your genetic makeup. So if anybody's interested in learning more about the blood type diet and how to be healthier with that, let me know. I'll be happy to do some work, make sure we know what their blood type is, and telling them what's the healthier choices and the best way that you process things based on your blood type. So it just kind of depends.
Okay. So last thing now you have a new name.
We have a new name.
It's Brownstone Healthcare and Aesthetics.
Yes, we were Brownstone Total Family Healthcare. Now we're Brownstone Healthcare and Aesthetics, and we have a new location coming February 1st. We'll be moving to Camp Coleman Road in Trussville, 4643 Camp Coleman Road, Suite 117, as of February 1st. And the name just encompasses all that we do. We do a little bit more than just primary care. I wanted to kind of encompass everything. So Brownstone Healthcare and Aesthetics, same love, same feel, same family feel, but just a new name.
Okay. And if they want to get in contact with you?
They want to contact us, check us out on the website, www.brownstonehealthcare.com. That's BROWNSTONE Healthcare, HEALTHCARE.com. We love to hear from you and hope you got some out of this.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Curry, taking time out your day,
As
because
usual.
she's actually seeing patients today, so
Yeah.
she took an hour at a time to sit down and talk to me, but I feel like this is a very
Anything for
important.
Jarvis, right?
Oh, yes, thank you. This is a very important topic, and you can't be a new person in 2019. It all starts and ends with the body. So if you ain't got the body right, ain't nothing else is going to be right. So for more interviews, please check out my website, what'shappeningbirmingham.com, or check out my YouTube channel, What's Happening in Beham. Please subscribe too, because I need some subscribers on the YouTube channel. Yes, it is. And thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye, y'all.